Hey guys, welcome back to How to Build a Blog with Laravel. This is our series where we're learning to build a blog from scratch using Laravel. This is part 30 and a half. All right, so we're actually in a half episode this time, and we've done these before. These are kind of episodes that don't follow along exactly like building upon our application, like a necessary part of building our application. But I do the half episodes because they kind of fall into convenient parts during our application process where I want to kind of pull you guys aside, show you something cool, and that maybe doesn't involve the application itself, and then we jump back in the next episode, back into the application and stuff like that. So you can take it or leave it. This video is a half episode because we're not actually working on the blog application. So what we're doing in this video is we're actually going to create a brand new application from scratch, and I'm going to show you guys how you can automate everything that we just did in like the last 4 or 5 videos with authentication and get it running right out the gate with one line of code, okay? So I've been actually kind of nervous about this video because I'm not sure whether you guys are going to hate me for it or love me for it, but the reason that I walked you through building authentication manually was so that you guys could see how it works. You could see what's being created and stuff like that. However, Laravel does have a way to automate that and to do all of this automatically, so that when you start an application, you can automatically have the authentication stuff built in really easily. It's easy to do. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. And again, the reason I waited till after we had worked on it to show you this is because I wanted to force you guys to see how it works and stuff like that, because this is a teaching experience. I wanted to make a learning experience for you guys, and kind of forcing you guys to see how it works will improve your ability to understand how it's working if you need to make modifications or changes in the future, okay? So let's go ahead. We're gonna start a little application. So this isn't gonna tie in with our existing application, but let me show you how it works, guys. I think you're gonna like it. Welcome back, guys. So again, in this video, what we're going to be doing is a little different than what we've been doing. It's the same stuff we've been doing, but we're actually going to be creating a brand new application, and I want to show you guys how you can take all the authentication stuff that we've been working on in the last few videos, get it up and running instantly, not quite instantly, we're gonna do a little bit of stuff, but really quickly, and just start building your application with the authentication system built in. It's really easy to do. Laravel has made it easy, and a couple of you guys have already pointed this out in some of the comments below, wondering why I didn't do it, and the reason is because I wanted to teach you guys how it works before just typing in something and just expecting it to be that way. If you really want to be able to excel and grow using Laravel and PHP and stuff like this, you need to not just know the shortcuts, you need to know how it works. And that's kind of why we did this, all right? So let's go ahead and create our new application and then get it working. So I'm going to open up, we're going to do all this in the terminal. So I'm opening up terminal here. We're going to create a new application. I'm just going to throw it in my sites folder. You can throw it wherever you want. And then if you guys remember right, since you already have this set up, we should just be able to do Laravel new and then the name of our application. So let's try like auth. Let's call it, we're just going to call it authentication. And then we're going to click enter. Okay, so it's going to craft our application. It's going to go through here and install everything. This shouldn't be anything new for you guys. You guys already know how to create a Laravel application. And I think we're almost done here. There it is, application ready. We're going to build something amazing. So obviously to get started, we need to move into that folder that we had just created, which was called authentication. All right, so, and then once we do that, we're just going to open up the project real fast. And we're just going to be doing, again, just a couple things to get our authentication up and running. If we do a PHP artisan serve right now, you'll see that we get the basic run-of-the-mill. It's your Laravel 5 application. Okay, so that's what we're at right now. What we need to do first of all is set up our database, and then we're going to run this little line of code that's going to create all the authentication, so we can start building our application from the beginning with the authentication with almost no effort. Okay, so we know that we store all this information about the database in the .env file. Okay, so the .env file is going to be that's where we store all the database information. But in order to do that, we need to create a database, an actual database real fast that we can tie into, because I don't have one set up yet. So in order to do that, we're going to just come on over to SQL Pro, and I'm going to create a new database. So I'm going to connect to my local MySQL instance, and we're going to come up here and click Add Database. I'm just going to give it the name Authentication and click Enter. Okay, good. I don't have one called Authentication. So now I've created a database called Authentication. That's all I need to do. All right, let's go ahead and close this up. And now we're going to connect to the database here in our .env file. So we're using MySQL. The host is 127.0.0.1. Now, if you remember in the video that I created when we first started this series, we were using I think Laravel 5.2, was it 15? And the default was localhost. That was the default for dbhost. And remember how we changed it to 127.0.0.1? Well, since I created that, which was like 2 months ago, there's been a new update in Laravel, which I think we're now on Laravel 5.2.25, I think. And now it actually automatically does 127.0.0.1. So we don't need to do localhost. So it's already changed. You can just let the DB port be the same. For the database name, what we're going to do is call it Authentication, because that's the name of the database we had just created. So that's what we're doing there. The username is going to be root, and then the password is going to be blank. And again, it might be different with your install, but if you just kept all the defaults, this is probably what it is. This is what a default MySQL instance is. Okay, so and then the DB password is empty. If you wanted to go through, you could also set up your mail application now, your mail trap like we did before. And you could go ahead and get that set up as well. And you would just open up mail trap and you'd put in the password. Same thing we did in the last video. And then your username, your password, and you'd be done. So you could go ahead and do that if you'd like. We're actually not going to test it, but that's all it would take. And then you could actually do your email testing as well. So that's another thing you might want to do. I'm going to save the .env file. And now that we have the database set up, we're able to actually create, we're going to run our little fancy line of code. It's going to create all the files needed for our authentication. And in part of that will be the migrations, and then we'll be able to run the migrations. And that's why we needed the database to be set up. So let's come on over here. We're going to go back over to our project where we were right here, and we are going to run PHP. Remember again that you're in the project folder. We're going to run PHP artisan make : auth. Okay, this is another command. We've done a lot of these make commands where you can do make controller, make a new model, make it all these different things. Now I'm making a new migration, something like that. There's also one called make auth, which basically says set my application up for authentication. We're going to go ahead, type this in here, PHP artisan auth make auth, and then we'll click enter. So you can see we went ahead and ran it. I'm just going to show you what we did here. It tells you here that it created a whole bunch of views. So it created a login page, a register page, and these are views, like the Blade HTML stuff. It created a password email, a password reset email. You got your other emails. Oh, sorry, this is remember when we did I forgot our passwords last video? This is the view where that has a form that you you put in your email address to request a password reset. This one here is the form where you actually, after you click the link in the email, you type in your new password, is this one right here. And then this is the actual email view for sending the password. Then we've got it's created a really generic layout called app.blade.php. It created like a home page called home, and then another page called welcome. And so what it does by default here is by default home, it protects, saying that, hey, home is it's protected behind authentication, and then welcome is designed to be available to everybody, okay? So it created all these views for us, it installed home controller, and it updated the routes file. Let's take a look at what all this is here. And well, actually first, let's go ahead and we're actually gonna reboot the server, and we're gonna look at what it created, and then we'll look at the code. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this. So just Control C. And then we'll run it again. I'll just click the up arrow to do PHP artisan serve again, and then click enter. We run it again, and let's come back to our project. Over here, localhost 8000. And now you see we're seeing something a little bit different. So we've got we're on basically our welcome page, our home page. This is publicly available to everybody. You can see we have a login and a register button here. If we click login, we could log in. We click register, we can create a new register. We click home. And this, I said before, home is kind of demonstrates a protected page behind authentication. So if you see here at the bottom, it's taking us to localhost 8000/home. Home is protected from our authentication. You have to be logged in to see it. So when I click home, it redirects me to the login page. Okay, I can't get to it. But if I click this Laravel thing, this should take me to the welcome page, the part that's not behind authentication, and I can access that. I just can't access home. So you can see that this is actually all set up. So let's register our application. I'm going to do it again, Alex Curtis. We're going to do hello@jacurtis.com. I'm going to create a password real fast, like that, and I'm going to click register. Oh, we don't have a table for our... I forgot one last thing, which we'll just run real quick. But we don't have a table to store our database in. Well, that's because we never ran our migrations. So after you run this, you need to run one last thing, which is PHP artisan migrate. Migrate helps to spell it right. Okay, so now we've migrated our database. Now let's go ahead. I'm just going to refresh this real fast. We're going to do this registration again. Alex Curtis, hello@jacurtis.com. Okay, and now you can see that we are in our homepage. We are now logged in, and we've created this in our database. Let's open up our database real fast. Come on over to authentication, and you can see that in our users, we now have a user created. So we are able to log in, log out. Up here, we've got a log out button. All of this is created with that one line of code. So we have a really basic application set up with our authentication. We have password resets. If we come in here and we log in and we click forget my password, we can send a password reset link. This won't work just because we haven't set up the only thing we need to do to make this work is set up our email, our outgoing email, just like I showed you in the last video. The view's already been created, but you need to, in your .env file, you're just going to need to set up the SMTP information and then your default email address to send from, and that's in your app config file. Okay, so you just make those two changes in your config files and your .env file, and then all of a sudden the password reset links will work as well, and you have a basic, easy to use application up and running in like a couple minutes. Literally, we can do this in probably 5 minutes or less. So it's really, really cool. That's the way that I suggest you actually, if you're going to be taking advantage of the default Laravel application, I wouldn't go through all the steps that I did in our video. I would do it this way. But I wanted to show you guys how that works so that you knew what was happening behind the scenes. I wanted you to see these views in action, see these controllers, and see how it works. And I wanted to take some time where we could talk and review how it works before we just type in this magical thing and everything just happens, automatically. So that's why I did that. Hopefully you guys don't hate me for taking, some extra time doing it, but you guys definitely learned a lot more than just if I told you just type in this line of code and click enter. You guys wouldn't have learned anything from that. And that's why I wanted to take you through the process real fast. Before we finish up the video, I just want to go back over to our project and show you some of what was created. So if we come to our database and we go to migrations, you can see we have our migrations for our password resets and for our users. If we go up to our app and our HTTP controllers, we've got a controller for auth and for the password controller. Those are already created. If we go over to our routes file, you can see we have a special route now called route auth. Route auth automatically creates all the authentication routes that you need. We can see those routes if we come up here, going PHP artisan route list, and we'll see all of these routes real quick. So we haven't even touched our, we only have the home page here, and then we've got, the welcome page, the public page. We have the home page that's designed to be blocked from guests, so only logged in users can see it. And then we have all of our route auth. And if you come in here, you can see what those are. So here's the home page, here's the welcome page, And then we've got all of these are created with that route auth. So we've got our get login, our post login, our get logout. We've got the password reset stuff, are these three here, and then we've got our registration routes. All those are created by default with this one little line of code. Again, this is why I want to show you this, because there's a lot of magic that happens when you just put in this little line of code. I want you to see how those worked. The other thing that it created was obviously all of our views. If we come over to our resources views, you've already seen a lot of these, but we have our emails, we've got our password reset views, and then we've got obviously the login and register and stuff like that. Now these are a little different from like a style standpoint than what we did in our video, but you can work with these however you like. So you can take what you see here and do whatever you'd like with them and just change up how it looks and stuff like that. That's all really easy. The views are right in here. So if you want to change what the email looked like, you can do all that in here. This is where you would find it, and then it will automatically take effect in your application. So that's basically everything that was created in this video. We created a really quick application, this authentication application, and it literally would take 3 to 5 minutes if I wasn't talking to you guys and we were just typing it out. 3 to 5 minutes, and you have an application with authentication built in, with all the features that we saw in the last video, just like that. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Hopefully I don't piss off too many people, because I dragged you guys through the mud in the last videos, but I really think it's important that you went through that to see where we're going now. Coming up, we're going to be starting working on relationships in our databases. The next video is going to be about setting up our categories for our blog posts, and those categories will have relationships within them. We'll talk more about what those in the next video. Where have I been the last week? Everyone's wondering. Actually, first of all, I've been busy with my own stuff, but more importantly, I've actually been working on some stuff for you guys. I've got a really exciting announcement coming up about this channel, some big changes that I want to make to this channel that are going to be really good for you guys. I'm doing it for you guys. It's actually a lot more work for me, so I'm doing it for you guys, but I'm actually really excited about something we're going to be creating together, and kind of with the future of where this channel's going. So I've been working on that all of this last week, and I am hoping to be able to talk to you guys more about it in maybe next sometime this week or next weekend. So I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a really good change, and so I got to thank you guys so much. Thanks for reaching out. I love all the thank yous and stuff I've been seeing on Twitter. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter or or you can email me, hello@jacurtis.com. Either one works for me. That's basically it. I do actually have some openings now for projects. If you guys are interested in hiring me for something that you guys have, just let me know. You can just email me for that. I haven't been able to take a lot of projects until now, but I think I have room for a couple more. So anyway, there's that. And that's basically it. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. I'm going to try to post the category video either today or tomorrow, but I'm going to try to push it out today. It just depends on how the weather is. I got a lot of stuff to do outside, and if the weather cooperates, I want to take advantage of it and go. I've got some landscaping projects I want to work on, and if it doesn't cooperate, then that means I'll be making a video for you guys and everything like that. I've got to finish a duck coop for my ducks. That's kind of something like they're getting really big. I really need to make the coop, the pen for them, and the fence and everything. So I've got to work on that, and I've got a couple other landscaping things. So that's kind of the other thing I'm working on, other than the side project that I'm doing for you guys and the channel, and then the videos. So got a lot going on, but it's really exciting. Thanks so much for you guys' support. I appreciate it more than I can tell you. Keep it up, and then I'll do my part and keep the videos coming. I'm already starting to work on our next series, so we've got just tons of stuff happening. Thanks for hanging in there, guys, and working with me. So again, I can't say thank you enough. I won't bother you guys anymore about it in this video. Thanks again, and we got more stuff coming up. I'll see you guys in the next video.